Jutsu. We are here tonight. You have Mydnite and Teesh.
So why don't you want a background?
I don't like the background. It's just weird to me that it's only because Zoom does it weird. It zooms out. It pans, and I don't like it panning. I just wanted to. I don't like the background. I just don't like the background.
Okay.
The backgrounds are whack.
I mean, my background is hot. Something like 5.
Okay.
It didn't take that much.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to update the name, we'll do that later. But for now, Teesh and Chris is fine.
All right, because I was gonna start calling myself the darkest light skinned brother.
I don't have a nickname yet. I haven't figured out one yet.
So this is what I did as a grown up. So I gave myself a nickname.
I don't have.
Let me tell you that.
I've been Sky Fairy. I've been Black Fairy.
You've been what?
Sky Fairy.
Sky Fairy.
Mm-hmm. Sky Fairy. S-Y Fairy. I've been Black Fairy. What else have I been?
Okay, so are all these like nicknames ex-boyfriends gave you?
No, I named myself.
No, okay.
Those are self-inflicted names. I love that.
So why?
Why? We love fairies.
Because you're a fairy.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy, very bubbly.
Because you're a fairy.
I just love fairies. I could be a fairy if you like to think so.
Because you're a fairy.
If you like to think so.
It's not what. No, these are nicknames you gave yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a fairy.
I'm magical.
Because you're a fairy.
There you go. If you like to say so.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'm gonna let you have that.
You said it. It's not something
it was a handle that I put on online.
Do you still call yourself a fairy?
Inside, yes.
So you no longer present yourself with nicknames as a fairy? Do you still have... Did any of your friends actually start calling you any of these fairy nicknames you gave yourself? So the only person that called you a fairy was people that didn't know you and yourself.
Mm-hmm. That was online. Just online.
And so just online. So people that knew you, if they were playing the game with you online, did they use the fairy tag? Or did they use your name?
The nickname while I was going in. And that was also my fantasy football name.
Okay. So
I've now retired.
Yeah, and you retired it. Why did you retire it?
Why did I retire from fantasy football?
Why did you retire the fairy nicknames?
The side fairy is still active on Discord. That one's still active.
Okay.
That one's still active.
What do you mean active? Do you or do you not still use that as your nickname? Well, your gamer tag is not the same thing as your nickname.
Mm-mm.
This is your nickname.
Yeah.
And you still use this as your nickname.
Look, why are you being so technical with my nicknames?
I'm not. I'm trying to understand before I tell you about my nickname and how it came about.
I wanted you to introduce yourself before I even went into anywhere with mine. So why do you want to go down this?
But you went through all these fairies and I got stuck.
Because I have other nicknames. That's why.
That you came up with.
That was an online handle and everything. Those are not my actual nicknames. The online nickname I chose.
So those were just the ones you gave yourself?
Yeah, online.
Because all of your other nicknames deal with your actual name.
That's it.
Okay.
I was fascinated with fairies and I absolutely love and adore fairies.
Okay. And that makes sense. I understand. All of your other nicknames dealt with your name. Okay. So.
And my height.
And your height.
And my height.
And how tall are you?
4'11" and a half.
For who, what now?
4'11" and a
So
half.
your height has a 4 in front of it. So they call you, so people have, so you called yourself a fairy. I keep thinking other people might have given you this nickname, but you gave it to yourself of being a fairy. So have you gone anywhere dressed up like a fairy?
I have.
And did you use one of those nicknames at the time and say that's who you are this day?
Yeah, I was Tinkerbell.
Tinker, Tinkerbell was one of your nicknames?
Just for the day. It was for Halloween.
I almost reached through the camera. Like I almost reached through the camera.
Only for the day because I was dressed up with my son. I was Tinkerbell and he was the alligator. For Halloween.
What was the alligator's name? TikTok?
I want to say so. Oh, wait, I think he was just Croc. Is he Croc?
Well, he swallowed a clock, and that's how they always knew he was coming from the TikTok. And I thought his name was TikTok, but I could be wrong.
We had to research that. I'm not 100%.
I'm not researching the name of the alligator from Peter Pan.
I'm just saying.
What I'm not going to do is that. I'm not wasting that electricity, that bandwidth, that mental energy. His name was TikTok, or it was not, and I'm moving on. I've spent enough time on your fairies down to you dressing up like Tinkerbell.
Hey, I mean, yes, I've done that, and I think I dressed up randomly as a fairy for something. It was to be creative for something for work, and I had some rainbow colored wings.
All right, so
There you go.
so my nickname that I've given myself came from when I realized I was delusional about the my skin tone. Okay, so I played outside all the time. Hands and arms really dark to me, I guess. To the rest of my face and my back and all the rest of that. Hands, arms really dark. I assume me and my cousin were the same color. My cousin's like a shade or two lighter than you. Hung around him all the time. People used to call me the light skinned one. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're the same color. Put my hand to his face, same color. Right? All right. So one day, my older brother came over to wash clothes. So he's washing clothes, and at this time, my washer and dryer were outside on the back patio in a shed at this apartment complex. So you had to go outside and then into the shed for the washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
It's jacked up, but hood living. Anyway, so my brother was outside, and I went out there to talk to him, and the sun hit his back, and it bounced off and hit me in the eye and nearly blinded me. And at that point, I was like, good God, man, you're light skinned. Like, you're bright. And he was like, you're the same color that I am. And I was like, there's no way. So then I started asking people, were me and him the same color? And they were like, absolutely. You might be lighter than him. So at that point, I realized that I was mentally dark and physically light. So, long story. Well, it's not as long as your fairy stories, but to get to the point.
No interrogation about me being a fairy.
To get to the point. So, what ended up happening is I then decided that as people called me light skin, I was like, no, I'm very dark. I'm like a shiny darkness. And because it's a shiny darkness, it reflects. It's so dark that it reflects light. And the only light that your eyes can register from a darkness such as mine is the lightness of it, which makes my skin look lighter than I actually am. So then I came up with the fact that it's a shiny darkness, and it's like sunlight at midnight. So at this point, came up with the nickname Mydnite. And then I added the sun to it, but instead of just Midnight Sun, which is SUN, I put a C at the beginning of it. And nobody pronounces it Midnight Sun. They always pronounce it Midnight Season. So I just took the season off, and my nickname became Mydnite.
Oh.
So people actually call me Mydnite. Like, I forced people, if you're not gonna call me Mydnite, don't call me at all. Playing the game. Better not use my real name, better use Mydnite, otherwise not gonna respond. So yeah. I actually have people that call me Mydnite. Like, people that think it's the most hilarious thing because you're not dark. But it's like calling a bald guy curly, that guy slim, tall guy tiny.
Walking contradiction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's also where the darkest light skinned brother.
Yeah.
Because internally, like, I really feel dark internally. Like, I feel I've embraced all of those roots. I've sucked them all up, and they've manifested themselves in melanin clusters around my skin. Because I have a lot of freckles of melanin clusters.
There you go.
Where my true color has been trapped, and it's not been able to get loose from these melanin clusters.
What do you say? I'll allow it.
Right. So that's what it is.
Oh. Okay, Mydnite.
See?
Look,
I
Caesar.
haven't called you none of those fairies yet. It's the way you carry it.
Midnight Sun, aka Mydnite.
Midnight, yeah, Midnight Sun.
See, I did it. Mydnite.
Yeah, I was about to say no, but it is Midnight Sun.
See, I was listening.
So funny story. Another funny story.
Here's my own, like I tell my son.
Another funny story is when I was dating my wife, we went to laser tag, and I put Midnight Sun on there with a C, which should just be silent, like Django. And this is where it started with everybody. Like, this was the first person I think I've written it out in front of. And the announcer was like, coming up in third place is Midnight Season. Who the heck is that? Don't know nobody named Midnight Season.
It's a gift.
So, yeah, cutting off the season, since people who aren't pronouncing it correctly. It just came down to Mydnite.
Oh.
Well, it didn't change much after that, though, other than just trimming it down a little bit. It didn't go through 15 different iterations of fairy.
You kept asking about fairy, why I have fairy. You got hung up on my online name versus my actual nicknames.
So what are your actual nicknames that you didn't give yourself? Teesh. That's it?
TT. Let's see. Only 3 people call me Teesh. Only 3.
Oh, it's going to be a lot more now.
Okay.
Teesh.
Only 3 people have ever called me Teesh.
Alright, so yeah, we've been.
And let's see, TT, Letty. Not many people call me Letty either.
Yeah, what do you have? One person that calls you Letty?
Oh, few people call me Letty. Few people call me Letty. They shall be your name because a few people call me Letty.
A few people? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you had a gang of Lettys, a gang of Teeshas.
Only 3 call me by your name. Only three have told me.
How many you need to be in a gang?
Is it green again? Well, they've been special. So there's that.
I believe three people's a gang. But okay. All right. I'm sure they didn't get stomped in or danced in or whatever the gang of Teesh does. All right.
Wait.
So yeah, we've spent about 15, 20 minutes on nicknames now.
Yes, we have.
And because I keep sending us down these rabbit holes. So what I want to talk about is really Disney Plus and the way they did. Because I started to watch the Bad Batch. I think that's what's called, the Bad Batch or whatever. But before I could watch it, I did want to go through Star Wars, Clone Wars, because you have to. That would have been like watching WandaVision without watching any of the MCU movies.
Yes.
Just be lost at some point. I mean, maybe not at all points, but at some point you just be lost. So I went back. I watched. Now, what Disney Plus did is they have, if you go under Star Wars, they have Clone Wars, the essential episodes. So I guess these are the episodes for you to understand the story that they're about to tell. So instead of it just being all like watching all 7 seasons directly all the way through, it has these episodes where important things happen that they've used later. Like did you ever completely watch The Mandalorian?
Oh yes.
Okay. So like Bo-Katan on there. So they had her story of what happened and how she ended up where she was. The situation with the black lightsaber, they had that on there. What happened with it, where it went, how it became, how it got to where it was. So it was eye-opening watching those episodes, and then getting down to the last essential episodes where they introduced the Bad Batch in Clone Wars and went through like a story arc with them. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I am a Star Wars fan. I'm a space exploration fan. Let me put it that way more, because I enjoy Star Wars. I enjoy Star Trek. I enjoy The Expanse. Like if you can do, I enjoyed not Serenity. It wasn't called Serenity. It was Firefly.
Firefly was.
Yes. So I enjoyed all of that because there was, even though it was space, it's done with a story that isn't just space. Space is just a part of the extension of the story. So I enjoy all of those. I may talk about some of those other ones one day, but when it got down to Star Wars: The Clone Wars, being the way Disney Plus did that for me, like I was able to watch it like it was an anime. It's like 28, it might be 24 to 28 episodes that you watch. And some of the episodes I've seen, but because I wanted to keep it in order, I still watched them again to get caught up on anything I might have missed. And there were some betrayals in there that I didn't even see coming, even though I know at the end kind of what happened. What is her name? Anyway, so because I'm blanking on what exactly the character's name was, but it does come down to, it's nice that they weren't like figure it out yourself. They kind of were like, there's 7 seasons of this. If you want to watch the Bad Batch and be caught up, here are 24 episodes that you can watch. That's going to pretty much catch you up on the Mandalorian and what other stories that they have that are coming out for that time period of between the New Republic and New Hope.
And I have watched some Star Wars. I have not. I can admit I have not watched Clone Wars. I watched all the movies.
Mm.
All the movies up until some of the newer ones came out. I did not watch the ones with Finn in it. I'm very, very um, disappointed with all of that. I heard about it. I did not want to go see them.
Didn't want to go see which ones?
No Finn. Is that the black character?
The one with Finn. Oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
Finn. That's why I
who?
said Finn.
Oh, so you're
I
talking
was
about the
like
new
Finn. I
Star
was like
Wars?
maybe I said his name. Maybe I said his
No,
name
his
wrong.
name was
But I
Finn.
was yes, and I was very disappointed because the depictions on the posters made it seem like he had this major role in it, and then they basically built it up and they pushed him into the background. My understanding, and he had a bit role in the last movies or whatnot. It was not what they thought it was. What they made it out to be. Like he was going to become a Jedi, and he did not. That was not the case.
So that yes, okay. So yes, they did not push him to the background. He just was not a Jedi.
And they made it like he was going to become a Jedi, and that's not what happened. And that's a lot of people are very angry about that. And
Yes, because he wielded a lightsaber, so they were like, so maybe he's a Jedi, and because so this is what I hate that certain movie studios do. Um, so when you have somebody start a vision and then you have somebody jump in the middle of it to do something else, and then you have to, because if you start a story that you want to tell, you understand Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Okay? So what happened with the first Star Wars, there was a story that the director wanted to tell. However, the production schedule for the second Star Wars, he was doing another movie. So they would not wait for him, so they got another director to do it. That director told the story he wanted to tell, which, whew, I almost let that bomb come out.
that's right. You know how to mute it out.
I'm not gonna do it. But he messed up. Like he started killing off characters, doing stupid stuff. Just I don't want to say stupid stuff, but his vision was different than the story that the first movie told. So because his vision was slightly different, there were. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ask a question. So if the scripts are already written, wouldn't he still have to follow the script? If the script said this, I'm assuming that the scripts are already written for these stories. Wouldn't he have to follow the script? He just had to direct it however he wanted to direct it. Right?
That's not how. That's not how directing works.
I don't know. That's not my area.
I know.
I'm gonna admit that. So I
He
mean,
can shoot. He can shoot whatever scenes he wants to shoot, and cut out whatever he wants to cut out. Highlight whatever he wants to highlight. Um, so yeah, so he changed some things, and because he changed some things, then the third movie had to change some things because now it wasn't it, and that's where the story started getting herky jerky, and it looked like Finn may have had a bigger role as a Jedi, and then all of a sudden they ripped that out, and Finn's just almost nobody, like doing side quests pretty much for the whole second movie, and then being an essential character again in the third movie.
Was he ever supposed to be a Jedi?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Well, I know this. So you haven't seen the movies though, right? And I'm trying not to spoil any of it for you.
Oh, I have no desire.
Okay.
No desire. So after everything else that I read up on it, I have zero desire to watch it. And I liked Star Wars up until that happened.
All right. So the main character was supposed to be a Palpatine, which is the evil emperor.
Yeah, I remember him.
Okay, so the evil emperor, the girl, whatever her name was, I can't remember. Supposed to be a Palpatine, which kind of brings back to circle the whole Skywalker's Palpatine thing. All right, so there was a big bad, which is the new ruler of the New Republic. However, they had Ben Solo, which is the new Darth Vader character, they had Ben Solo kill him in the second movie, which threw off what the third movie was going to do.
Mhm.
Also, revealing who Ray, that's what her name was. Also revealing who Ray's parents were, or revealing who her parents were not, kind of threw off what the third movie could do. So it kind of was like, as because the director kind of wrote the script and would make changes to the script as needed throughout the filming, because okay, this doesn't match, this doesn't line up, this doesn't match the scenes I've shot already, this doesn't match the flow of the movie. So because of that, then the third movie had to take a certain undertone, pick up on certain pieces to try to fix the storytelling of it, because you can't just be like that movie didn't happen. You can't just be like Ray was dreaming. I mean, you could, but they didn't. So that's why, like, the first movie to me was great. I can watch the first movie over and over again. But
Mhm.
the second and third movie kind of drop off for me because of the choppy storytelling at that point. And that's why, like, even their one-off movies are great, like Rogue One and Solo. Some people didn't like Solo. I like Solo. Had no problem with Solo.
Okay. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Thank you.
Ah,
Like I
you're
said,
welcome.
I wanted to see it all the way up until I heard what happened, and I was just like, it lost me with that. I was hyped, excited, and then I heard what happened, and I was like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get my money.
I mean, it gets like that. Like, I know I didn't like, I waited for the first Justice League to come to like video where I could watch it. But the Snyder cut, because of the actual being able to complete a story. So did you watch both of those? The Justice League and the Snyder cut? All right. So being able to complete a story is important.
Of course.
It makes more sense from what you just saw, instead of when studios reach for money. When they go trying to grab money, they're not telling a story. So when you're trying to, let's say for instance, the Monster Universe that Tom Hanks was trying to get started, when they were trying to, when Warner Brothers was trying to start the Monster
Or
Universe.
all the Spider-Man, like some of the Spider-Mans they pulled out and left cliffhangers out there. Great movies, like some really great movies out there, and they left them out there. It's the same.
So, well, I mean, the cliffhangers are fine,
But it's
long as it's
story continuation.
eh, eh, I'm a little torn on that. Yeah, I'm a little torn on that. What I'm not torn on is not necessarily the cliffhangers, but when there's no continuity between what happened in the last movie to the next movie. So it can't be Spider-Man 2 if we're gonna act like Spider-Man 1 really didn't happen. Can't be Spider-Man 3 if nothing that happened in Spider-Man 2 counts.
So they had they had a new Spider-Man universe come out prior to this current Spider-Man. I like this new Spider-Man. He's so cute. But the one prior, they had this new thing going on with them, and they talked about his parents. Like they revealed some things about his parents, and they left it there. Like that was like really, they really went somewhere with his parents. They left it out there, and they didn't do it on the movie with him. They left it, and I was like, I want to see what's going to happen with that. Which honestly, I can go into comic books and read, of course, but I just wanted to see what they were going to do with the movie, and they didn't
Right.
do it. They left that Spider-Man out there, and I thought he's going to be pretty cool Spider-Man too. And then they went this Spider-Man and this Spider-Verse, which was amazing. And then they went to this Spider-Man Homecoming and all that stuff. It's just, I like him. He's just adorable little dorky, right? He fits the whole demeanor of what Spider-Man's dorky and all that stuff. But anyway, continue.
No, no, no. I mean, so that was just me getting down to the continuity of storytelling. is very important. And I for the life of me can't understand. Tell the story first, and the money will come. Like, if you look at all of the people, like what happened with Firefly was once people found out it was a great connecting story, and then they were like, okay, so we want more of this, which is where you get the Serenity movie to actually give it a proper ending because we want to see these characters, whatever happens to them, we want to see what happens. So that comes with focusing on telling the story. Once you've told the story, then you can get to trying to make money. So when you look at the DCEU, their problem is they're first trying to make money while telling their story. They don't care about the product they put out because their only goal is to make money.
And their cartoon movies are great. Cartoons are great.
Because they're not about making money. The cartoon movies aren't about making money.
And
That's
they
why.
make the cartoon movies. They make money of those. All the movies.
Because they're just telling the story in the cartoon movies.
And I think the only exception to it, and I repeat, I am not a DC fan whatsoever. I actually enjoyed the Batman versus Superman movie. It was very dark, and I enjoyed that. And I like the ties between, like, they tied the whole Martha thing with their parents and all that stuff. It was really
a little corny, but yeah, okay.
Anyway, it was good. It was. I mean, I just enjoyed the movie. It actually drew me in. It did draw me in. Batman things, but it was good. It was good. They did a good job with that. But that's like a one-off. A one-off. The dig with Wonder Woman too. I like the new
1984. Yeah, we have to talk about how that's. Oh, God. Oh, God.
You know that it was good about that movie was the costumes and the wardrobe. The wardrobe.
No. The only thing good about that movie is that it ended. Like once it got to the end, that was it.
See, there are some movies that once it gets to a certain point, there are certain people that I can entrust that if they tell me, if I hear the response about it, all right, you good, all right, bet. No, thank you. Or I'll wait. I will wait until it comes out on TV or Netflix, Hulu.
You know what? I actually don't ever take anybody else's word for it. I watch horrible movies. I watch movies that people.
I will watch them. I'm not going to pay my hard-earned money for movies that I know because we have similar tastes. That I'm not doing that. Not doing that. No, I'm not wasting my money.
So this is the thing. I won't do it if there's something else I can go watch.
That part, and there was plenty of stuff that I could watch. That was totally wonderful.
But if it comes down to, all right, there's nothing else on Netflix. Like this is when I'm watching it because that's still my hard-earned money.
Look.
So if there's nothing else, there's nothing else to watch.
I ain't paying for that anyway.
I'm not inviting nobody else to come watch it with me. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, you wanna watch this Wonder Woman 1984? For them to look at me funny, like, no.
I'm so mad at you for that. I'm so mad at you for that.
I mean, but that's where it comes down to. They weren't interested in telling the story.
That was a money grab.
Yes, and you can tell. You can start to see it because the participants in the movie are mailing it in. And you can tell when they're mailing it in because when you start to feel like, so there's the thing. And I'm going to get back to when they mail it in. So, say for instance, you have somebody like The Rock, Common, Method Man, they're acting in a movie or something. They're not actors. They are celebrities that were able to parlay whatever celebrity they had into getting acting jobs. They may get better at acting as they go along, which The Rock has, which Common has. But when you see them in a movie, they are The Rock playing a character. It is Common playing a character.
I don't see Common as Common playing a character. I see Common acting in a movie.
It's Common acting in a movie. Like you know who's
replicate him to that. Now, Rock, he's gotten better with some of his roles, but initially it was The Rock.
It's still The Rock. I don't know why you act like it's anybody else. Will Smith, First Family, Smith family, you know. So Will Smith. Will Smith
alone.
Say what?
I'm gonna leave him alone. I know how you feel about him.
Did you better not blaspheme that Smith family? I tell you what.
He is a great actor, but I know sometimes you see Will Smith and you don't see you see Will Smith playing the character, not necessarily the character.
What you're not gonna do.
He's a great.
The only movie. There's only two movies. There's only two movies that you may bash of Will Smith's.
My After Earth.
After Earth is one. That's it. After Earth, and you may choose between Wild Wild West and 7 Pounds. Those are the only two.
I actually like 7
You
Pounds.
cannot choose all three. You choose After Earth. That is always in the first slot. And you can choose one other movie between 7 Pounds and what was the other one I said? Wild Wild West. That's it.
Wild West is
and I will let you know that I like the Wild Wild West.
I did not like Wild West.
I liked it.
I did not like it. I actually like 7 Pounds, so.
So I guess you're choosing to defame or discredit his acting in the Wild Wild West. Got it. After Earth, Wild Wild West. Don't talk about Don't talk about no other Smith family production.
Like I love Independence Day. Like hands down one
We're
of my.
Not gonna talk about any other.
Wait a minute. I just said like hands down one of my favorite movies of like one of my favorite movies of all time with Will Smith is Independence Day. Like that's my shit. Oh, that's my. I said what's it. That's my favorite. That's my shit all day. I said what I said. You gotta call spade a spade. Like that's my movie all day. That's my movie all day. So I love him. I love him. He's a great actor.
You made me forget what we were even talking. Oh, actors, people that weren't acting.
Really?
That then started acting. So mailing it in. Whenever you start to see the actor instead of the character, that's when you know they're mailing it in. And it's because they may not actually believe in the vision that the director has. And if you see multiple characters in a movie mailing it in, you know the director was like, studio wants y'all to, instead of the director having any buy-in in what they're doing. So yeah.
And I'm doing this because like I'm not just shaking my head just be shaking my head, but I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's look, preach.
I'm just saying.
And it's sad because I've seen there's some movies that you can tell whether they like you said, you can tell what the director having to say so because the movie would have been better if the director had, more if they had more instruction on it, you can tell. Or a movie where the director sucked.
Yeah. And I mean you hear it a lot. Like I've seen it especially with like the Marvel Universe and DCEU movies where they're like, yeah, so the studio wanted a totally different movie than I, as the director, wanted to make. And that normally comes down to either and I can get it somewhat with the MCU because they're weaving so many different storylines into each movie that they're no longer having individual movies. And they have to find a way to break that back. Because remember that Guardians of the Galaxy has zero to do other than an Infinity Stone. They had nothing to do with any other movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened to have an Infinity Stone in there, which you wouldn't put together until later, until so much later, that had anything to do with any of the other movies.
They're
But
the
now they're trying to even Thor: The Dark World, which is the one MCU movie I've watched only once. Is Thor: The Dark World.
oh,
I've
okay.
only watched it once. I have never watched it again.
I like
It is the last MCU movie I would. If I had to watch all of them, and the last one you can skip, Thor: The Dark World, would be the last MCU movie.
look.
I would even watch them Hulk movies that they did at the
And
beginning.
Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy, the second Thor movie,
Mm.
in the arena. Those are my two. They are my two asshole ones. I can watch them all day. I can watch them back to back to back to back to back. They are so freaking funny. They are funny, funny. It's you need to pick me up. Watch them. Just watch. It's, it's funny. They're so damn funny. Petty. If petty with movies.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the truth. Those are the movies. Those are the movies all day. And Batista's funny too.
And it's like because it fits his character. It sounds like stuff a wrestler would say.
Yeah, and it's fun and yes, and that's one of the few where I was like, it's Batista, but it's not Batista at the same time. If that makes sense.
Have you seen Army of the Dead?
So I need to add it to my I need to add it to my list of movies to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we just yeah. I'll leave you these last 15 minutes.
So I am going to bypass what I was going to talk about, and I'm going to make a recommendation for you.
Okay, okay.
So I went old school for you on.
Get my handy dandy pen out
All
for
right.
these recommendations.
Since I'm on the vein of funny and petty.
Oh,
What else? And it moves back and forth between funny to being serious and sprinkle of romance in there. It's called The Slayers. I've mentioned to you the other day offline, but I wanted to bring it back because it was my favorite, absolute favorite. It's still in my top 5 all time favorite anime. The Slayers. Slayers came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and it did not ultimately did not end until 2009. That's the continuation of the series. It
oh
took a break
wow.
for a while, and it actually did not end until 2009. And the two main characters are Lena Inverse and Gowry, and you're following their adventures through this fantasy world, and it's a lot of the stereotypical tropes. Lena is this all the time. She's this genius sorceress, and Gowry is this knight. He's this amazing knight, but he is dumb and a doorknob. And he's like supposed to be he's like gorgeous, blonde hair, blue eyes, and Lena has flaming like supposed to be red hair, but her hair looks orange, and she's short tempered, and there's this recurring theme about her being flat chested, and she's supposed to be mean. She does have the short temper thing comes up. So when they have wanted signs, they show her with like flaming and all this stuff, right? But they're going on this adventure. They're going on this adventure trying to defeat these two this god and this demon. Um, One of the Shaberniko, and I think it's Selfie. But anyway, really, really great series. Out the gate, the dumb stuff pops out in the first 15 minutes, and it draws you in, and it's funny. And a lot of people have the thing about sub versus dub. And I was in high school when I started watching this series. And let me tell you that when I ran across the series, Blockbuster was still out there. Blockbuster was the thing, right? So yeah,
Oh
literally
wow.
walking around in Blockbuster, and I used to go and I would look for, walking around, looked in the anime section. The cover caught my eye, and I was hooked. And when I tell you that every week I was looking, I went there into another rental movie rental place, another movie rental place, and video rental place, and I was trying to find them every which way I could. And then we transitioned into online and YouTube and all that, and I caught up as much as I could until that's how I kind of fell in love with anime all over again. But it is an amazing series, and I think you would absolutely love it. And on my scale of 1 to 10 is like a 12 or
Oh wow.
15. It is funny. It has the old school style drawing, not old style school drawing, but like the late 80s, early 90s drawings. And it is so funny. Oh my gosh, it is hilarious. And like I said, if you give it a chance, I think you like it. Like I said, it has they start traveling in a group. It starts off with the two of them. And they have like the sorceress, the knight. They wind up with a healer. Um, they wind up with let me see, a light magic and a dark magic sorcerer, and
Mm.
it just in a world that's built, and it's so cool. And of course, there's some romance in there. People start liking each other and all that stuff. Those two like each other and all that stuff. You'll see various things played out in the series. The world, the world is about to end, and she has this amazing one of her most powerful spells is like the Giga Slay, and it's so powerful that it destroys town. And he has a powerful he has a very powerful attack as well, and it just goes on, and I can just talk about it forever. And I haven't watched understand that I have not watched this series, and it's been a good probably 10 plus years, and I'm telling you about it off the top of my head. And I
I
wanted
see.
to let you know. I said, what series could I recommend to him that I think that you would enjoy with the action, and just something that would draw you in. Not it's along the vein of One Piece, but doesn't go on forever like One Piece. It's just interesting. It's just an interesting, fun series to watch. So for anyone who's watching, who's watching us right now, I strongly recommend that you watch it too. It has a little bit of elements of everything that you want to watch in an anime: the action, romance, the fantasy element. If you want it, if you anything you're looking for in an anime, it's there. So check out the Slayers.
The Slayers. Absolutely. That sounded awesome.
Oh, and I did watch it in dub. So that whole sub versus dub thing, I watched it in dub. Like I said, I was in this blockbuster we're talking about. So
Right.
I watched it in dub. Lisa Ortiz voice, and you'll see why her voice is freaking hilarious, and it's very, very distinctive. And once you hear her voice, you will find out that she has played so many characters in so many other shows. Her voice is very distinct, and it's so funny, and you'll see why. So that's what I got for you.
Okay.
I'm actually making
And you
fun
know what?
again.
That was such an impassionate uh, review of the Slayers. I don't have any recommendations for you. I had plenty, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna let that sit.
Oh wow, let that simmer.
I'm gonna let that simmer right there. That was you was into that.
Look.
And I'm definitely going to give the Slayers at least an episode or two try and see if it hooks me and drags me in.
When I tell you, Gary is he's such an idiot. He's a master swordsman, but he's such an idiot. He's an idiot. Goku, but a swordsman.
Oh wow. And it's the Slayers.
The Slayers. And
Okay.
it has different iterations. The Slayers, it's the Slayers, the Slayers Next, the Slayers Try, the Slayers Evolution.
So let me ask you this.
hmm
Have you seen it like on Crunchyroll or Funimation?
Um, it might be on. It might be on Funimation. Yeah, it might be on Funimation. I'll have to check that, and I'll follow with you offline. But and if so, we can just put some notes on this episode.
No, I can figure it out right now.
Cause that's my show. When I tell you that's my show, that's my show. Okay, I'm checking right now alongside you. Let's see what we got here. It's on Funimation right there. Bam. Watching on Funimation, guys. It's on Funimation. Please, please, please check it out. It's on Funimation. You gotta plug on Funimation. Check it out. Promise you, you're not gonna be disappointed. So,
all right.
It's telling you if this podcast blows up, Funimation, y'all want to sponsor us? It's okay. We love that. Look in the beginning stages.
All right. Hadn't even put out the first episode yet.
Look, but this is one of them though. They're gonna look back like, yeah, she was talking about Funimation from the jump. That's right, because I've been around Funimation from Jump Street. You and Crunchyroll. That's right, because you were all one. I've been riding with y'all since day one. So yes, y'all want to sponsor?
I really do think they're all one now.
Yes, they are one. They are one.